Welcome to the MMHP and the 989. Podcasting from the Michigan Rock Legends Hall of Fame in downtown Bay City. Channeling all styles and eras of Michigan music history. From the city by the bay. And now, Dr. J, Sir Fred, Mr. Mike, and your host, Scott Baker.
And we're back with part 2 with Zydeco, Ziggie, Zeitler here at the MMHP and the 989. We're so glad to bring you an episode with some Michigan by way of Louisiana, Cajun, Zydeco, with of course, his blues and Irish influences as well. Zydeco Ziggie's been a staple in our area, for the mid-Michigan area for many years. And here in part 2, you're going to get to catch up with him, some more music, and see where he's heading with his wife as well as solo in the years to come. Ziggie's got a lot of history, and we hope that you enjoy this. Dig in. Part 2, Zydeco Ziggie. I want to step back to, was your mom and dad both musically inclined? Or?
Absolutely not. I'm the biggest fluke in my family there ever was.
So you just naturally gravitated to something that was never there and surrounding you.
I guess so. You know, my parents always had music playing around the house. You know, and I have one cousin that plays, I guess, but I can't get her to play with me. You know, for whatever reason. And I do have another cousin. He will be like a second cousin because one of my cousin's kids that is studying with me right now, and he's showing a lot of promise. You know.
Are you any relation to Mike Zeitler?
Well, no.
He's a drummer down in Detroit. He plays in a Zydeco band.
My name is actually Zeitler, not Zigler.
Oh,
yeah. And a lot of people don't know that. I think it's Zigler because of the Ziggie part, but it's actually Zeitler. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've known you so long as Ziggie that I forgot your name.
And everybody does.
I just said everybody. I had to start the show like that just to hear him say his name because everybody knows Ziggie.
It's spelled Zeitler, so everyone wants to say Zeitler when they say it phonetically, but it's Zeitler. You know.
And you were stopped briefly when we were talking earlier about your favorite album.
Oh yeah,
Muddy Waters record. What one was that?
Marty's Real Folk Blues album.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure
that's one of the rarest blues albums.
I still have it.
That's about $400 or $500.
Oh, really?
Album.
I have a copy of that too.
The original?
I think so. I bought it I don't, maybe not. I bought it in 1969, so maybe it was a reissue. I'm not sure.
And most of that's pretty well embedded in my head now too.
Yeah,
that's a great album.
Oh my gosh, that just blew me away. And most of it was just him. His guitar and a bass, you know.
What was well, let's go through your record collection here. I was listening to a podcast last night, and it's something I'm like, I never thought about using that in an artist, but you know, all of us music collectors got a pretty substantial collection, or at least a lot of favorites.
Right.
Tell me something rare in your collection, maybe a Cajun album that you're so proud of that no one may have heard of that you want people to hear.
Well, it'd probably be rare to most people, but if you're in value country, it would be probably anything by Dewey Belfast.
Oh yeah,
Dewey Belfast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Falcon Joe in. Trying to think of his wife's name. I can't think of it right now. Cleoma maybe. Falcon. Some of the first Cajun recordings.
Yeah, his last name was Falcon.
Yeah.
I can't think of his first name.
Yeah, it's interesting because one year I played for the Renaissance Festival. I did that. And one of the ladies that was selling the gypsy clothing, her name was Janine Falcon. She went by the name of Jiva Falcon. She recorded with me a lot. She was from Louisiana. And recorded a bunch of songs. By the way, she was a Falcon. She was kin to the, Joe and Cleoma.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and other people. There was David David and Roslyn, who's another Louisiana. They're kind of like a street band.
Well, they're originally from Detroit, I think.
Yeah. I think her family is, I think. I'm not sure.
Because I used to see them in Detroit and New Orleans.
Yeah, and they
all the time.
Yeah, and they actually recorded in my studio different times, and I've actually done recordings on their albums, and a lot of times when they come through town, they call me up to play with them and stuff too, and I always enjoyed them a lot, And they're street band, and Dave was pretty multi-talented, different instruments, plays everything, trumpet, guitar, and different things, and they're a lot of fun. They were actually the only people I know that were on the Gong Show.
Really?
Yeah, and I actually seen the footage of it once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was on YouTube. You might still be able to find it. Yeah.
So what was your first record you put out on your own? Whatever type it was.
My first record was actually a real record.
Vinyl.
Yeah, and I did a goofy, quirky song called Music Talk. Was at that time, before I guess before I was really finding myself musically where I really wanted to be. It was a tune called Music Talk. It was kind of almost like a new wavy thing. I used a lot of keyboard in it, and after putting out.
Was that 45?
It was a 45, yeah. And after putting that out, it didn't take me long to realize, this isn't what I need to be doing. It wasn't too long after I said, I need to settle into like blues and stuff like that. But I played in a lot of country bands too, and played pedal steel in a lot of country bands back in the 80s.
Multi-talent.
I remember one year on my birthday, I went. It was used to be called the Evergreen out there on Swan Creek Road in just outside of Hemlock, in between Hemlock and St. Charles. There was a jamboree there, and I think I got there early. I think I played steel guitar for every band there that night.
Wow!
On my birthday.
Wow!
Yeah.
What a gift!
Where did you get into rockabilly? Is that through playing in the country bands?
No. Rockabilly was kind of. I always loved rockabilly stuff. I would probably say that was probably an Elvis thing when I was a kid. My parents lived in Elma, and my sister and I would always walk down to the movie theater from my grandparents' house, and I think we seen every Elvis flick there was. Of course, the early stuff was all real rockabilly stuff.
Oh yeah, his movies in the 50s were pretty good.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
They were fun in that age. You got into the pretty girls and everything. And it was.
So when you did the rockabilly album, did you do? Was it like a covers album or?
No, I wrote every song.
Really?
I never recorded anybody else's songs on it.
Oh, okay.
Ever.
You never put out any covers.
I never did.
I love that.
Never did.
Either have I.
Kind of selfish of me, maybe,
yeah.
But
I'm thinking about it, but
I've thought about it. But I constantly write. If I sit down and for half an hour, I usually come up with an idea.
All right.
2 or 3 ideas.
Can we get a little taste of a rockabilly tune here?
Oh, let me see if I can. Let's see. I think of one. I haven't done any of them for a while. I tell you, I got a more recent tune. This is it's kind of rockabilly influence, not a rockabilly per se. See if I can remember the words to it.
Yeah, we're kind of springing this on you without a lot of preparation. So whatever you want to play, go for it.
Man's got 100 records. He's like, that was album 27. I'm trying to figure this one out here.
Let's see. Get the right harmonica. Here, okay. This little tune I wrote recently. Yeah. We just recorded this song. It's going to be part of one of our newer albums. It's called Baby Shake Your Left Foot. It's kind of got rockabilly influence. So see if I can remember all the words here. Baby, shake your left foot. Baby, shake your left foot. Baby, shake your left foot. Do it in time. Come on, baby, be my Valentine. Baby, shake your right foot. Baby, shake your right foot. Baby, shake your right foot. That's what I like. Come on, baby, be mine tonight. Baby, you can shake it. Baby, you can wiggle. Well, you know, I like it in the middle. Well, come on, baby, this ain't no riddle. Come on. Baby, shake your right foot. Baby, shake your right foot. Come on, baby. All right. Come on, baby. It's just right. Baby, you can shake it. Baby, you can wiggle. Well, you know, I like it in the middle. Well, come on, baby, this ain't no riddle. Come on. Come on, baby, shake it. Let that bad boy split. All right, come on. That's what I like.
Man, great little tune.
Thank you.
Hey, Zig, remember when we played here in Bay City at the, it's now Gilroy's hardware store, but it used to be a hall or something.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right.
yeah.
And we played for the governor of Michigan.
Yep.
And I had to do when he walked in, they said, do a drum. And I said, well, I don't have a drum. So I had to play a washboard
Drum roll?
drum roll as he walked in. It was St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we did that
1 year.
Yeah, a couple of years we did that.
So who's the governor?
Blanchard.
Oh, it's Blanchard. Okay.
We got the gig through Jim Barsha.
All right.
Yeah.
Neat.
Oh, that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
So that must have been back when you owned Black Kettle then, right?
I don't remember.
Sure.
What year it was.
Yeah, Blanchard, boy, that goes back a few years when
I
he was
think-
governor.
One of the strangest gigs.
That was before Engler.
I'm not sure if you were with us on that with John Cohut, and we got hired to stroll in a grocery store.
I could have been.
Yeah,
'Cause I did most of the strolling gigs with him.
and that was where Kroger's is now in Saginaw on Green Acres Plaza. I forget what it was back then. I think it was like a Ray's or something like that, maybe back then.
Could have been, yeah.
Well, Ray's and Giant were the same company. They were just, I think, different names. I don't know why they had the two. Yeah, but it's the same ownership, though. So when you were strolling, what does that mean? You were just walking up and down the aisles?
Playing, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Fred would play washboard. John would play
accordion.
I would play mandolin.
Yeah.
We would walk around.
We would do Ukrainian songs. And
all kinds of stuff.
So you just went up and down the aisles?
Oh, yeah, we did many of those.
Yeah, and your average natural act, that band, it was pretty much an ethnic band almost.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes Andy Rogers played in it.
Yeah, a lot of different
Ziggie
people came
and Bill Pringle and John Kohut and I.
Wow.
Well, how long would this go on? Would like half hour or longer?
What, the strolling?
Yeah.
Whatever, how long it took.
Well, sometimes we play, you know, we have gear set up, we play through that, and sometimes we'd stroll and stuff like that. And, you know, in my band, when we do Cajun and Zydeco and blues, when we do that, we always have parts where we go out in the audience, we know we're wireless, walk around, and a lot of gigs to this day when I start, sometimes I just start by walking around playing mandolin, especially if it's a supper or dinner club. You know, it breaks the ice and I get to know my audience a little bit. And, you know.
Wow. That's excellent.
Yeah.
What an interesting thing there. I've never heard of those gigs. You know? My baloney has a first name. It's OSCA. How do you play? And then
if it's a dinner club, you know, it's the best way I can go around while I'm playing. I can talk to the people a little bit.
That's cool.
Get up there and play. And I already got the ice broken, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of got them a little bit where I want.
You ever get up on the bars and just start?
We've done. Perry and I.
Perry does that with his washboard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He asked me to. He said,
Tables,
"Come on
chairs.
up," and I'm going. I don't think so.
We used to. Matter of fact, we used to. Perry and I used to play at a club called Gerber's. A few years back, about 25 years, probably longer than that ago, and we'd play there, and there was Dave's next door, and we'd play, and then we'd stroll, and we'd walk out of Gerber's, out the back door, and go in the back door of Dave's, and back through, and steal their audience. Got kicked out finally. And he and I, we played a lot of fairgrounds just doing that. I mean, that's our gig, strolling.
Wow.
You know, with the washboard, and that a lot of times I'd use the Resophonic guitar because it'd be louder, and the harmonica, and then Perry would be on the rumble, you know, like Fred and I would do too, you know.
So, and you've been mainly out with your wife lately, but have you been doing you've been doing solo things? You said too.
Yeah.
Do you have a band that you've been going out with?
With Susan?
Or other than Susan, for yourself? I mean, I know you and Fred recently did some shows.
Well, they were canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled. That's in the works. You know.
So that's kind of like the current project that you've got. That's.
Yeah. I want to start doing some things with Fred, and you know, I got my band with Perry, and of course Susan and I.
Yeah.
And Susan and I also have another band called Monday Supper, which is another four-piece Irish band.
Yeah, you could write a new song, Replaced by Mechanical Bull.
There you go. We could do that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Don't get me going on the lyrics for that.
So, that's your plan for the future coming up here? Do you have any recordings going on right now that you're wrapping up or anything?
Well, you know, Scott, I constantly record, you know. I mean, every time I get an idea, I record, you know. I have the studio at the White Crow, but I also have a lot of the same gear at home too. Huh. So I'm constantly working on new stuff, putting up a new building in our backyard just so I can record there, you know. I can close the doors and go to work. And
well, the White Crow that's a venue, and you had a lot of concerts there.
Oh, we've had a lot of. We had people from all over the world there. We had, Scott's played at the White Crow. You know, we've had all kinds of people, and you've seen a lot of shows there. You know,
yeah.
We had a lot of Irish bands. We had a lot of bluegrass bands. We had blues guys. We had just about everything. We've had people from all over. Had one guy was interesting. His name was Vince. He was a drummer. He had a loopy machine for his voice and just one drum. He used to play with I think who's the guy that Ry Cooder plays with once in a while, the blues guy. Oh shoot, I can't think of his name. I know you guys know who he is too.
Terry Evans?
No. He was real popular years ago. his name? He's done different things with Ry Cooder, though, I know. And they just came out with an album recently, he and this guy, black guy.
Okay.
Maybe it'll come to me later, but so many. But anyway, Vince.
Sonny Terry or Brownie McGee? I'm trying to remember. It seemed to me I read something about that review too, and I can't think of it right now.
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal.
Yeah, they were in what, that
they
band
just
way back
recently
when, the
together.
Rising Suns? Was that it?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Vince used to play with Taj Mahal
Okay.
too, and he was a real interesting guy. And we had a 6-piece Ugandan band who played all instruments from their country, native instruments from that. That was fun. They actually stayed with us at the house and had a little fun playing some music with them and stuff like that.
I remember a show you had there.
Elvin
Youngblood Heart. To this
Oh,
day,
yeah.
To this day, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Elvin Youngblood Heart. Yeah, that was a real treat to have him. Yeah.
You've had so many shows come through. There was talk you guys were going to sell it not too long ago. Is it?
Well, it's up for sale.
It is?
We're not going to stop doing what we're doing. We just haven't figured out how, that's why I'm putting up a new building for recording. I might do a little bit of teaching out of there. As far as shows, we're still thinking about doing that. We'll just find other locations to do it at. But no, we aren't done yet. We just want to get rid of all the overhead and less. I spend a lot of my nights are spent doing book work and trying to take care of the business stuff, which that's stuff I hate to do. I want to get rid of that and get to the stuff I love to do.
Right.
Because I love performing, I love teaching, I love recording. And and
it's a Michigan original here, man. I tell you, you are. Is there? That's something I haven't brought up to you. Have you shared the stage with wherever from Michigan? Another Michigan artist that you're like, man, people need to hear about this person, or a band, or a couple, or
who have I shared the stage with?
That from Michigan, as a Michigan show here.
Oh, Michigan people.
Yeah.
Well, Larry and Cherie, of course.
Oh yeah.
There's been some other guy. I got to think on this. I know there are. I can try to remember.
I'm thinking like more authentic, like. Not authentic, but different music. Like you've done so much different things. Is there anybody else around that has kind of a style that you're in that you're like they're really good?
That I'm doing. I don't know of anybody that.
I look at the one other person in our area that he doesn't do what you do, but you guys are similar to Bob Hausler. Very multi-talented, very multitask, studio guy, puts on a lot of shows, teaches. Yeah. You're the same kind of.
Well, it's always fun to play with Bob too.
Yeah.
And one thing I like with Bob, when I play with him, we have this thing together where we can swap leads back and forth. Not trying to go over top of the other guy, because most guitar players or people doing lead stuff, they want to play over top of everything, and they don't get that. Hey, let's work together and come up with something cooler and more interesting.
Yeah. Sharing.
Yeah.
The ancient art of weaving, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Keith Richards calls it.
Like for me, it's a treat when I get to play with someone else. You sit in with another band and they have other instruments. I can lay back and I can do more. Just lay back more. When you're the only guitar player, especially if you're playing with just the percussionist, I gotta be busy constantly to try to fill that in. We have a bass player. When I have him, it's wonderful guy that can hear. You can slow down, save something, be more lyrical, and that's the idea. When you're playing, if you can do that, be more lyrical, sound more like the human voice. And that's kind of the goal. That goes back to like B.B. King, of course. Muddy Waters, a slide thing. How more vocal can it get than a slide guitar?
Right.
And a slide guitar, you can get all those little Middle Eastern tones too in between the frets and stuff like that. And I have studied sitar for a bit, and with slide you can get those. Well, a perfect example of that would be Derek Trucks, who does some of that Midwestern stuff.
Especially his solo work before him and Susan got together. There was
incredible.
A lot of Indian music.
Yeah, I love that stuff too.
Yeah. Sarad and stars and just the tunings.
Oh,
I loved it.
Yeah. I remember seeing Rabbi Shankar years ago at Delta College.
Oh, yes.
And incredible, you know, and of course a lot of people walking out, they didn't get it, you know. Of course they have those in between, you know, like how do I want to say it?
Yeah.
You know, you got those little things you can kind of bend for that. With a slide, you can get so much closer with it, you know.
Right.
And in India, they have different guys playing slide guitar with the resophonic strings, you know. But that's that's their instrument.
You have any albums out of your own with your own original Eastern sounding music?
Probably the closest to that was my Bouzouki album. It's a bouzouki, but you know. Well, those scales like that. That right there is actually that's actually a Jewish scale called the Friggish scale, which means the love scale. I've studied with Andy Statman in New York a bit. And Andy Statman is probably one of the most incredible musicians I know. He's a mandolin and clarinet player. Started out doing bluegrass. Got interested in his own culture, was Jewish. He's now practicing Jewish. And but he studied with some of the Jewish masters doing klezmer music. And it's an album, a beautiful album that him and David Grisman, you might have heard of David Grisman. Him and David are great friends. Matter of fact, I've heard David introduce Andy as the best musician on the planet, and if you ever knew about Andy, you would see why David would say that. But anyway, Andy's just incredible, and klezmers are a Jewish style of music, you know, and most of the time you're gonna hear it with big band instruments, you know, like horns and stuff like that. But they did this wonderful thing with mandolins and string band.
Wow.
It's called Songs of Our Fathers. Beautiful, beautiful melodies, minor melodies, you know.
Wow, crazy. I'll have to check that out. Are all of your records, or most of them, available online or anywhere for people can listen? Is there a spot where they can go to hear Zig's music?
Right now, because of COVID and technology, being the computer just couldn't keep up with it, you know. I got to go through a lot of my stuff and rehash a lot of it. So right now we're just trying to get back on track with the CDs and stuff right now. But we're going to have something coming out pretty soon. Thinking maybe January, if everything works out right, it would tie in with Smoking Sled Dogs for an anniversary year, you know, too.
Wow.
I think that's what I can't remember how many years it is right off the top of my head, but
where do you put them out? Do you sell them from your website, or
yeah,
there really aren't stores anymore?
Mostly just at our concerts and stuff like that.
Okay. And the White Crow's had a substantial CD sales there.
Yeah. Well, Susan and I always done real well selling on our gigs. One of the things we do, I think, is different than most other people. A lot of people don't do this, but we do it. And my other bands, I've always done it, is when we get done with the set, like in between sets, we're out there talking to those people. Mm-hmm. You know, you make connections. You know, a lot of people don't do that. They want to go in the back room like, you know, you're a big star. You know, hey, you're missing the boat. If you want to sell CDs, if you talk to those people, you know yourself, if you go to a concert, and you see a concert, if you get an opportunity to talk to them a little bit, that makes them a nicer experience.
Oh, certainly does.
Every time.
Yeah. And if you're performing, don't you think they want to talk to you? I would think so, you know.
Mm-hmm. Every time.
Yeah. So, you know, make those connections. And you know, a lot of people wonder why we sell so many more CDs than they do. Was because we're out there talking to those people, we're making friends, and they come back. I had an interesting thing happen a couple years ago where I was in Chamberlain, and I was playing, my band was playing, and another band was playing around town, and I knew the fiddle player. Yeah, you want to jam afterwards? I said, sure. So afterwards we started jamming. I'm just getting kind of late, and someone comes downstairs, and I woke him up, you know. He said, "Oh no, I woke you up, didn't I?" I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm going, that wasn't good. I was, you know, I thought they're probably going to hate me. You know, the next day they came down. They actually bought some of my CDs, and I says, "Well, my wife and I are playing over in what's it another town in up in the UP. I'm thinking of the name of the town now. All these towns and everything." But anyway, I said, we're going to be over there in a couple months. You might like to hear our Irish band. Sure enough, they showed up. So I couldn't believe that. Usually you wake someone up, they're going to be really mad at you. You know?
Right? They were like, we're going to follow this guy.
It was pretty cool.
It's a bonding moment.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was cool.
Wow.
It was cool.
Well, cool, man. Well, thank you, Ziggy, for sharing your music.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Is there a Smoking Sled Dog sites where we need to go to
get
your tour dates?
Smoking Sled Dog, you can go there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably the best place to go right there, yeah.
Unless they get on your own personal mailing list, because Susan's pretty active on that list.
Yeah, you can check me out, Zig Zeitler. If you want to hear some of my little blurbs I put on Facebook, go to Zig Zeitler, B-Z-I-G, or just... It's a Zig Zeitler, Ziggy Zeitler. It could be Ziggy. I don't read my own stuff.
It'll probably come up as soon as you put Zig or Ziggy in there.
But Zeitler spelled Z-E-I-T-L-E-R.
Isn't that like Ziggy on the phone or something?
Yeah. It's called At Home on the Phone. My little series I do. And it's my little improvisations. Some of them are little ideas, and some of them turn into songs. And they're I was going to do a bigger podcast, something like you're doing, Scott, originally, but I've been in radio and stuff a lot. And I also know a lot of people on the internet. There's so much on there. I think it's hard to get people's attention too sometimes. So I said, well, what I'm going to do, and you're doing it with, you got different people, which is a cool thing. Well, I thought I'm doing this by myself, so I decided I don't want to do any more than 15 minutes at a time, maybe 3 songs, and get in and out, try to hold people's attention. So don't take up a whole lot of your time.
Yeah, that's right.
You have, it's kind of fun, and,
Yeah. Well, when you pop on and play, and sometimes I'm on there, or I'll catch it just after it's done, I always find I got to check out what you got going for the next. Sometimes it's an improv, sometimes you're telling a little story behind it, and it's always got an intriguing bend to it, and you never know what you're going to get when you play. So you got all the styles going on. It's usually blues based, but it's always fun.
Blues or Cajun based, and a lot of times it's just improvisations. I don't even have a clue what I'm going to do. I can go from one thing to another and just do it. It's kind of like doodling motion, But I try to make it make sense, and I always have a harp with me, and it's fun stuff,
Thank you, Ziggy, for making
You're welcome.
Yeah,
thank
awesome.
you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
The MMHP is hosted on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and our own Libsyn podcast site. You can also search MMHP 989 on Facebook for up-to-the-minute information, as well as both Dr. J and Sir Fred's album picks of the week, posted every weekend. Don't forget to look for Mr. Mike's local music live series, posted frequently on MMHP's Facebook hub, as well as Scott's Mid-Mitten 15 from Harvest Canteen, featuring one-on-one interviews with Michigan music artists. You can connect with Scott on the web at scottbakermusic.com, Dr. J at michiganrockandrolllegends.com, Sir Fred at fredrife.com, Mr. Mike at YouTube at Mr. BT1. That's MRBTEE and the number 1. Brought to you by Michigan Rock and Roll Legends, located both inside the Bay County Historical Museum on Washington Avenue, as well as Scotty's Sandbar on Evergreen Drive at the Bay City Middle Ground.
On behalf of our hosts, Dr. J, Sir Fred, Mr. Mike, and myself, this podcast wouldn't have been here without the voice of the MMHP, Mr. Eddie Switek, the generosity of the Bay County Historical Museum, which hosts the Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame, as well as this podcast, Mr. Alan Garcia, all of our guests, and especially to the listeners. We want to thank you. You got a song you want to play us out on, or?
Sure, we can do that. You want to grab that rubboard?
I can.
Let me do something a little.
Just so you all know, this is a Saginaw washboard.
Really? I love the top part. It looked like
Ziggy, did you have that custom made?
It was made by a company in England, actually. I've seen it, I liked it, and I yeah, that works, you know.
Yeah, wow, that's really something.
No, I have different sets of these. I've got to have every key, and I have specialty harps. And the one I take on the road with me is a big case. It's probably got 30-some harps in it, and backups. And I another thing is, I have all these low-key harmonicas, so I kind of do these bass lines while I'm playing with them and stuff.
Wow.
I'll give you something a little.
Take pictures of your. They always used to take pictures of Lazy Lester's harmonicas.
Not the harmonicas, no, never, no.
Well, he'd carry them in for most of the time that we toured, he'd carry them in like a fishing tackle box.
Sure, I used to do that. What I get pictures of is my washboard guitar. I have a guitar that Jason Mills, a good friend of mine, made. Do you know Jason?
Oh, yeah.
And he offered to make a guitar for me and says, well, let's make it out of a washboard. And we use that on most of our gigs, and people just love that thing,
That's cool.
It actually sounds good. There's something in A minor. I'm just going to do the improv here a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you guys.
Right.
I love it. Freddie even locked in the transition on that one.
Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful.
Fred's a master ripboard player.
Really, really cool how you guys took the different dynamics on that, and you both went right along with that. He's took it right on a curve.